Oh my goodness. Welcome back to Five's the Crowd, but today we're not Five's the Crowd, as you can see. Today we're only Four's the Group, okay?
You from Minnesota now?
I am, don't you know?
We lost another one. We got a replacement.
We got a new. I just flew in this morning on the airplane, don't you know? But they lost my bags. I lost my bags back in Minnesota, don't you know? That was a new accent. I've never really done that.
Wow.
Well done.
That was pretty good.
But, you know, maybe it's just because I'm not feeling right now because one of our comrades has fallen.
Yeah.
As you can see, we lost another one.
It's another heavy day in the studio
We lost our dear friend Chris to cancer.
of motor biking.
That cancer is Carol. Wait, no, sorry, wrong guy.
Wrong guy.
That's me.
We're so used to blaming your wife.
We're gonna take a moment of silence as we light a candle for our fallen comrade. Chris mixed up his schedule a little bit with his wife. Turns out he was leaving, 2 days ago? Not today? Or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Now, we know Chris. He doesn't really have a schedule. Lisa has the schedule for him.
True.
He's got a work schedule.
Yes.
She's got the personal schedule.
Mm-hmm.
She manages both.
I'm blaming Lisa on this one.
Oh yeah. So let's take a moment of silence.
I was waiting for you to quote that. I wanted to say it, but I don't know it.
It's just Latin.
Latin, I don't know.
But here we are for a group today.
Yep.
We just thought we'd kind of catch up on some of the goings on here in the world today.
A lot of crazy.
There's a lot of crazy.
A lot of
It's
stupid.
yeah, a lot of stupid crazy. Crazy, stupid without the love.
Yes.
But to start us off on an awesome positive note,
I like that.
Cam and I got to do something last night that you're going to be extremely jealous of.
Yep. And before you make comments, let us finish.
There is a brand new flavor of Mountain Dew coming out,
Yes,
What?
there is.
and we got to try it before the masses.
Exclusively.
How the hell did you pull that off?
Have you met us?
True. What is it?
It's Mountain Dew Legend.
What? Oh.
Yeah.
I have heard about
I've tried
this.
it.
It's
No, you haven't.
No, I haven't.
my bad.
Who's that?
My brother. I'm sorry.
Josh, knock it off.
Throw them on.
Put him on speaker.
Hey, Josh. Yeah, dude.
We've got Josh on the show today.
Mountain Dew Legend. It's exclusive to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it
But
was
it doesn't come out for 1-2 weeks.
Yeah,
What's
1 or
the
2
flavor?
blackberry.
It's like it's
So it's
I
kind
saw
of like
Mountain Dew
the
blackberry. And it's
the lightning one to KFC. That's how this one's going to be to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, but I saw a little promotional thing as I was making the thumbnail today, and there was actually like little lime wedges too. So I think it's lime. I think it's lime and blackberry.
Oh my god, it was freaking good.
It was way good.
How?
Well, so we did a we did a video
Zach's
on
speechless.
Mentrive where we tried the new flavor of wing from Buffalo Wild Wings, their Flamin' Hot Doritos,
Oh.
which also freaking amazing.
Yeah, it's way good.
But so
Okay.
Austin called in, ordered it up, said, "Hey, we're doing this for a YouTube video, so if you can make them like look nice and pretty, just because we're gonna have them on camera." Well, then we get there, and the manager like comes out and starts talking to us because she was like, I guess, prepared for it, and starts talking to us about possible future events with them. And then as we're about to leave, she's like, "Wait a second, I got a surprise for you," and she just like goes off into the back, comes out with 2 cups, and she's like, "Here it is." And we're like, "Cool, what's this?" And she's like, "This is the exclusive Mountain Dew flavor that nobody else has tried yet. It comes out only at Buffalo Wild Wings in the next couple weeks."
It was freaking good.
It was so good, dude.
The funny thing is we had these cups, and Jess was like, "Should we save one sip for Zach?" I was like, "No, we're
We
not
both
saving a
screamed
sip
at
for
her.
Zach."
It
That's rude.
No, it was too good.
That's rude.
It's like he can get his own.
In fact, about like 9:30 last night, I was driving right past your house. I was coming back from Salt Lake. I could have made a quick pit stop, taking that sip.
We didn't take
been
that sip till like 11:30.
Yeah.
I still.
Yeah, that's
I would have
true.
waited.
Yeah, we set up to do the IV thing at 8, and it was supposed to be an hour-long thing. And
Altogether.
And he didn't even get his vein found until an hour into it.
Yep.
My entire bag was drained by the time he started.
But then I like finished mine in like half the time.
Dude, his foot was thirsty.
Thirsty little foot. I drank it up.
Oh no,
Dude,
I'm sad.
It was good. Maybe when it comes out, we all go to Buffalo Wild Wings because I've been craving it all day.
Dude,
after we
it's
had it
so
last
good.
night.
Do you promise?
Yes.
Yeah, you guys want to go?
Let's do it.
We can all go.
Let's
do
do
it.
it. It'll be delicious.
I actually kind of want to try that. I'm not a huge fan of spicy things after our video, but
Dude.
I do kind of want to try those Doritos ones.
So
They're way good.
they have
Are they coated in Doritos? Sorry.
Yes.
Are they,
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like
They actually have like a glazing that's the flaming hot, and then I actually think they
No, it was
actually
like
crunch.
It's like a cheese. It was like a cheesy. They smelt like Doritos.
100%.
You couldn't even smell the chicken. It was just Dorito.
Okay.
And it's like, it's like a flaming hot glaze, but there's also like the nacho cheesiness of the Doritos.
Yeah.
And then they had chunks of flaming hot
Or
Doritos all over.
Doritos on it. Yeah, they crunch up chips.
That sounds amazing.
They were way good. Are you hungry now? You're looking at me like you're hungry.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Looking around for food.
Where are those wings?
There's a box of cereal.
It was tasty. But so in other news,
Hey, real quick. Since you
sir.
brought up the whole cereal thing, you guys and your Golden Grams saying that the cheaper brand was better than Golden Grams?
was.
No,
Oh, dude.
you guys are.
it was way better.
Dude, trust me, I'm a Golden Graham guy.
That is my favorite cereal, is Golden Grams.
Me too.
And then you put Malto-Meal over them?
Dude,
Dude, I'm telling you.
Have you had the generic? Have you had it?
I want to say yeah, but not like side by side.
You need to have it.
It's like I
It's
feel
so
like
good.
for me it'd be the difference between Cafe Rio and Costa Vida.
They're the same.
Thank you. Yeah.
They are not the same.
No,
they are
they're
not
not.
equal.
Golden Grams, I'm not a huge fan. I liked the malto meal better, but I still just wouldn't even eat them.
I like Golden Grams when they're part of a dessert. Like
Okay.
there's like a s'mores
okay.
dessert you can make with them.
Yeah.
Just delicious.
Smart.
I don't know, man.
Oh yeah, maybe we'll have to discuss this in our next
Oh,
topic.
wait, hold up. We've got generic over there.
Yeah, but it's
boy, we're gonna
We'll let you
probably
have some
all
after this. We
stale.
even have bowls. No, they're in the Ziploc bag.
okay.
That's right.
I'm used to my family where it's like they like pull on the Ziploc and it's like bam, and then the whole thing
It's just ruined.
yeah. It's like, well, that Ziploc shot.
It's just it never opened. It just ripped off the side, and it's on the other side,
Oh,
still
I hate
attached.
that. I hate
I
that.
know, this is useless. About as useless as
That
that
grinds
piece
my
of tape
gears.
they leave you on there. Oh my goodness. So we were just discussing new shows are out. We got Halo.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
Need to
it's
watch
so
it.
good.
It's
Haven't seen it
good.
either.
Honestly,
This
it's
might be controversial.
it's a bit deeper than I expected.
I also heard that they show his face in the first episode.
Immediately, almost.
Is that the
pisses me
controversial
off.
thing?
Same.
No,
The controversial thing is it doesn't follow the actual game story at all. It's not canon.
Oh.
So it's just its own.
But it has stuff
rando
from the
thing.
game, though, right?
Oh yeah, a ton
Oh,
of
like-
stuff from the games.
like honestly, so like kind of a slight spoiler, nothing crazy, but like it shows like his first person view, and it's just like the game, and he actually he's getting shot. And it gets to the point where his shield is down, and it actually does the like and like powers back up. Like it was
That's
spot
cool.
on. I was like,
Okay.
And
that
I
is
mean, like
cool.
his armor is exact, his like weapons and stuff, his machine gun and pistol and all that.
Yeah.
And
It even has their sword, their big old laser looking sword.
energy swords and
Yeah.
stuff. So I mean, it is Halo through and through. It's just their story is not the story of that we've known through years of the games.
Okay.
But the graphics, everything, it's legit. It's
So
so
like
good.
if you go in looking at it like this is something separate, you'll enjoy it. If you go in wanting it to be the game and all that, you're gonna hate it.
See, and I don't know that storyline.
It's a good thing I don't know anything from the game. So
Oh, there's so much. It's so much deeper than I even remembered.
I think I only played the mission on one game, and that was it.
Dumb.
Well, you got to remember, not remember, but I didn't really have an Xbox for
He's
a
a
long time. I'm a PlayStation guy.
Samesies. That's the only reason I had an Xbox was for Halo. Because I wanted that game. It's
True. I do own the Master Chief Collection right now. I need to go through and play those. So
I have it too. We should play.
You should. I have it too.
Fun.
Tony?
I don't have it.
That's your next step.
You just got to get Game Pass. It's free with Game Pass.
Yeah, buddy.
I even think Chris has it too, actually. So
Yeah, even the new one's free with
Oh.
Game Press.
What's that one? Is that the knockoff version?
Press. Yeah, you go to a sketchy website to get it.
That's the black market
I
version.
can't read anything.
Do you want the Game Crash?
He opens his jacket to show you the codes for it. No, you gotta pay first.
I got your house sneak peek. Game Crash right here.
Give you the first 3 codes for free.
Oh man, I think it'll be cool though. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, I'm anxious.
Is there any update on the Lord of the Rings one? When does that come out?
I think the end of this month. No,
The end of this month, for real?
I thought it was
I thought it was
soon.
like September.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Did your laptop just freeze?
Nah, my space bar just felt kind of weird.
Gunky?
Yeah, so I hit it.
Don't you hate it when like your keys get stuck down? It's like, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden you have like 10 million S's across the screen.
The worst is when it's in the spot where if you type, it makes noise. So it's like, dun, 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 dun. Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power.
September 2nd.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was wrong.
Not too far away.
That's not that far away.
It'll be here before we know it.
I don't want it to. I want a nice summer. Moon Knight is out.
Haven't watched that one
Morbius
yet.
is out.
That's Morbius is out.
Sonic 2 is out.
Oh, that's the
Oh,
one
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
excited to see.
Which comes with devastating news.
Yeah.
During
Isn't
the
that so
press
sad?
conference,
Right?
Go ahead and say it.
Jim Carrey is gonna probably retire.
You know what else I heard? I heard that Bruce Willis is also retiring.
Yep.
Yeah,
Bruce
but
Willis
for
is
sad
done.
reasons.
Yeah.
He's got aphasia,
Yeah.
which is it's like a disease, not a disease, but it's like a condition where you start to not only you can't speak, but you can't understand it either.
Well, and it's like
It's like dyslexia of like speaking and hearing.
you basically are in mid sentence and you almost forget what you're trying to say, and it takes a minute for your brain to process, and then finally, like you stutter, and then you finally spit it out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's rough.
They say typically it's basically trauma of the brain. It's typically caused by like strokes, things like that. But in his case, it's probably just his action movies probably finally catching up to him.
It's unfortunate.
Really breaks my heart.
I was telling Tony the other day because he texted me about it, and I was like, man, this just makes me realize that we're getting old because all the actors that we grew up with watching in their prime are now retiring or done or
Or worse.
Yeah. Yes.
Did you notice though? I started to notice with him recently, he was in a lot of like kind of
B
B
movies?
movies. Yeah.
But did you know that was on purpose?
No, what do you
It's
mean?
actually really smart on his part. So he could still have been in like A-list movies, but for those B-list movies, he was still getting paid a premium because they could put his name on the movie. And it would only, like most projects, was only 1 to 2 days to film.
Wow.
So instead of like these month-long programs where he'd have to go out and, spend days and weeks on a set, he'd fly out, get it cranked out on a weekend, and then be back at his place.
Well, that's why.
So he's
Nick
making
Cage-
more off of
Yeah.
these.
Yeah, that's why Nick Cage went and did it a lot too. And a lot of the times with these B movies, you're not subject to the matters of Hollywood and what's going to get you in trouble and not. And
Like the number of views or downloads
the-
or whatever.
Yeah.
the politics garbage.
yeah,
I heard Samuel Jackson did the same thing back before he was Nick Fury and all that. He kind of went through a down he was kind of in a rut, and so he was just taking any and every job he could get, which is why you saw him in everything.
And which is why he's a horrible actor.
Rude.
You say that, but I want to say he was just nominated for an Oscar.
I hate Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, but I don't have much faith in the group of people that nominates people for Oscars.
Right?
It's true.
I mean, how long is it the Oscars, or what did it take forever for Leonardo DiCaprio to
The
get?
Oscars.
Yeah.
Was it not? Yeah.
So the
yeah,
Os-
we
the
don't
Oscars-
trust them.
The Oscars, the awards you get at the Academy Awards.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't follow any of this.
I don't either because I hate
the
it.
Academy is, I don't know.
Hot garbage.
I knew at one point what like the actual Academy was, but they are like the guys. And so if you're getting recognized by them, then in the eyes of Hollywood, you're definitely doing something right.
But you know what? You'd
But-
think you'd want to get recognized by the people who actually watch the movies and are going
Yeah,
to make you money.
right.
That's
not
what I'm saying.
6 or 10 or however many old people that just go, oh, you did
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
It's the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. Where's the science come into play? That's what I want to know.
Science.
And the Academy Awards, the Oscars, blah blah blah. What? But I don't see how many.
While you look that up, I heard that an astounding fact for like the red carpet for this, the average price of a dress on the red carpet for the Academy Awards, do you know how much it is?
I'm going to guess,
Few million.
I'm going to guess like 10,000.
That's it.
You want a place to guess?
I'm gonna say 750,000.
1 million, Bob.
You're all low.
$1.
The average price of a dress is $10 million.
Closest round going over.
That
is
The
gross.
showcase goes
And
to.
see,
Isn't that crazy? It's just a showcase of money,
It
man.
makes me mad. And that's why it makes me mad that they get up on stage and they're like, you guys should stop, burning crude oil, man. You're ruining the planet for everyone, man. It's like, shut up, dude.
That's why to this day, I absolutely love Ricky Gervais's thing.
Yes.
I don't know. I can't remember if it was for the Oscars. It might have been for like
the Golden Globes.
the Golden Globes.
Yeah.
See, I don't know the difference between the Oscars, the Golden Globes, or the
it's
Academy
just,
Awards.
it's
all
a
on
bunch
who-
of rich people patting each other on the back.
Good job.
It's all basically who is the one voting. And so the Golden Globes is like a step down. I know the Screen Actors Guild is actually kind of cool because it's actors voting for actors. So
okay.
like they're getting awards based off of their co-actors.
By their
That's,
peers.
see, that's cool.
Yeah. But
Can't vote for yourself.
Ricky Gervais, he goes off and he's like, he's like, none of you in here know a damn thing, so just get up here, accept your award, thank your God, and go.
Oh, but he doesn't say go. He says an F off.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Thank your producer.
funny.
Thank your agent.
Your mistress.
Your
or
God.
something like that.
And F off.
So I listened to, I think he was on the Smartless podcast.
Oh yeah.
And they interviewed him and they kind of asked him about it and stuff like that. And he just basically was like, I was just there to do a job. If they invite me back, great. If not, I don't care.
I love that
So
guy.
he's just like, he honestly had no craps given about what he was doing up there. Cause
That's amazing.
yeah,
Dude, this thing, like, the original 36 founders of the Academy only consisted of 7 actors.
What?
Jeez.
The rest there were some directors, there were 2 lawyers, there were a bunch of producers, a few technicians, and a handful of writers. But mostly producers.
Wow.
Wow.
You know what's weird about this entire thing is being a YouTuber. When we first started, YouTube was looked at as like a hodunk town, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know? And
It's like, the peons rising above their station.
yeah. And so like Hollywood was still high and mighty, but I feel like the tides have turned dramatically
Yes.
in like a short span of like 5 years. Cause I remember the big tides turning when like Will Smith joined the platform was huge.
Yep.
But also, who was it? Drake played
Played Ninja on
Ninja,
Fortnite.
played with Ninja on Fortnite. Yeah.
Yep.
And it was like, those were the events that were like tilting the shift. And now it's almost like people praise and love YouTubers more than a lot of these actors coming out for the Academy Awards.
Well, because we in the YouTubing community, we have something that the actors don't, and that's relatability.
Yeah.
You can look at us and be like, oh yeah, I got a group of friends that I sit around and talk to, like just in their basement, like you know regular clothes, normal people.
That's one reason why I've really gotten into. You mentioned the Smartless podcast, because they have these celebrities on, but they're just shooting the breeze with them. It's not a talk show. They're not advertising their latest movie, anything like that.
It's not
they just
big-ish.
Yeah, they just have these celebrities on, and you get a bit more personal feel for them.
Yeah.
And some of them, are better than others, but I don't know. I love it because then it kind of brings it down to a more personal level.
That's exactly why I love that Hot Ones.
Oh,
Same,
yeah.
same reason
Same
is they'll have these
concept.
big names on. And back when Hot Ones was beginning, you could tell the celebrities would go on there and be like, what the F is this?
Like, what did
place?
my agent get me into?
And like, I don't know if they're still in the same location, but I knew that the location that they had was in a super sketch building.
Yeah.
And did you watch a lot of those
No.
beginning ones? I just remember some of the conversations, and it was like a small sliver of a building, and it was literally like a room this big, and
man.
it was like a black curtain was all that was behind him, and a small table, and the wings were always cold. It was just this terrible production, and but they would start eating these hot wings, and the hot wings, they'd get up to those higher levels, and
Yeah.
it would totally humble them, like hardcore, and they would remove that facade of fakeness, and it would just bring them down to this humble standing point because they're just trying to survive on this interview. And it was so glorious to watch. And now it's more, professional, and there's a little bit more to it now, but I loved that fact
Yep.
about it. And that
That's
was also
awesome.
another one of those that kind of broke that veil, was that show.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
amazing because now they even have a TV show on, like, I don't know what channel, but I feel like TV's dying anyway.
Yeah.
Everything's
Well,
moving to
Dude, I haven't had
online.
cable in like a decade.
Yeah,
That's with a lot of these like streaming services, the movies that are directly related to them and things. On again, just referencing that Smartless, one of the questions they ask a lot of them is, they're asking these actors, do you prefer your movies coming straight to these streaming services, or do you miss them going to the theaters? And it seems to be kind of split. A lot of them miss the idea of the theater. They like the idea of the theater because that's where
big
movies
time.
exactly.
that's where they're making all their money.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's just interesting. Like a quick comment, I was listening to one, they were interviewing David Spade, and they were talking about making a Grown Ups 3, and he was saying, he's like, I would love to, but he said we'd have to kind of work it out because I know Adam Sandler, I guess, has something with Netflix.
Yeah, he's
but
contracted with Netflix.
He's contracted with Netflix, but Grown Ups is Sony, and so they can't cross those lines
So Sony owns the rights
to Grown Ups.
Yeah,
to
the
Grown
Grown-Ups
Ups. And since
franchise.
he's on Netflix, he probably signed something that says he can't make anything with anyone else.
Right.
Yeah.
For a certain amount of time.
See, and
So
that's
Sony
the
and
other.
Netflix would have to play with each other, and we know Sony doesn't like to play well with others.
If they're not going
so-
to play with Disney, they're not going to play with
Yeah, for real.
Netflix.
Sony, get off your high horse, man.
right?
Your platform, your
It's like we made Spider-Man and it's amazing. It's like, yeah, with like Disney behind the scenes holding you up type thing.
yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, like for them, Disney made the other two Spider-Man relevant again.
Exactly.
Like they brought the attention to the forefront. Like I keep seeing stuff all over the internet, like Tobey Maguire open to do another Spider-Man, or same with Andrew Garfield
So
and
that
stuff
same
like
with
that.
Sam Raimi.
Yep.
He said he wants to do a fourth Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire.
Did he do the other
It'd be
three?
kind of
Yeah.
fun to see, like, 'cause
Right?
it'd be
It was
cool.
Sam Raimi, right? Who directed the first three?
Yeah.
Okay.
It'd be kind of cool because, like, Into the Spider-Verse, they say that the kind of the Nick Spider-Man, or his name's not Nick, but he's Nick on New Girl.
Yes, I knew exactly
So
what
you
you're
know what
talking
I mean?
about.
So that version of Spider-Man, where he's kind of dejected and jaded and stuff, is supposedly like our worlds, like our multiverse.
It's the
is
Tobey
Spider.
Maguire, isn't it?
Yeah, it's him.
Because they
older.
even make fun of that, where he's like, "Yeah, there was a bad moment in time," and it shows him walking out with Doesn't
Yep.
show him like how
Yep.
it does in the movie, but he has his Spider-Man outfit on and he's doing the little dance that Toby does in the third one.
Yep. So it'd be cool to see like an old Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is just kind of like over it.
Right.
But he still has to like do stuff. It'd be funny.
I forgot
Like
that
an
he's the voice
anti-hero
of that.
Spider-Man.
Could be the one where because Spider-Man and Deadpool are like
They're
best friends.
yeah.
I would love to see that.
That would be freaking dope.
I'm
Could you
waiting for the
imagine-
day they bring Deadpool into the
Which there's
MCU.
rumors
So good.
in
Yeah,
the
we'll see.
multiverse of madness.
That would be so great.
That
Could you
movie's gonna be
imagine?
crazy. We gotta go.
Which one would you like to see? Ryan Reynolds with who?
Chris Pratt. Ryan Reynolds.
As Spider-Man?
Wait, Chris Pratt is.
Oh, Spider.
Wait,
Sorry, I
Ryan-
thought you were just. I thought we were just
No,
on
yeah.
the Deadpool into the MCU, and you were just saying like,
Oh no, I meant it's Spider-Man. Sorry, which
Oh.
Spider-Man?
Oh, I'd love to see him with the second two. What's
Andrew Garfield,
Andrew Garfield and then the new one?
Tom Holland.
Yep.
Why am I remembering these and you aren't?
I am
For
horrible.
real.
say, what universe?
I'm horrible with names. The guy who quote like names the director of movies.
I'm horrible on names.
Not those names.
Oh gosh, all the names that nobody cares to know. You know.
It's like, come on, Steven, you know I'm bad with names. It's Austin. But
Who's your favorite Tom?
No, I will always remember
Hanks.
Austin's tonight because I got it on my shirt.
Yeah,
See,
see?
so I
There you
won't
go.
forget Austin's name tonight.
Tom
Oh
Hanks.
my goodness.
what about? Yeah. Who's your favorite Tom? He's like, what does he say?
Tom
first?
Cruise?
Tom
Yeah, Tom
Cruise.
Cruise.
Yeah.
Tom-
what about
Tom
one
with
that
an
his
H.
last name ends with an H?
Tom Hanks.
How about,
then
a
he
Tom
say
that ends with an
Hiddleston?
H
No.
that's from England?
Oh yeah.
No, he's
Tom-
British.
Oh yeah, but he's British.
And then he's like Tom Hardy.
Love Tom Hardy.
Dude, he's a stud.
Yeah.
That would be cool
I need
to
to
see.
see him
to
in
see
more stuff.
Venom and Ryan Reynolds and Tom Holland.
Oh,
right?
That would be
He's so
That would be
confusing.
fun.
You're like, what's happening?
Do you think it would be confusing?
The
Oh,
hard,
it's three different worlds.
you know why
But
I
it's all
want to.
intertwined, isn't it?
You know why I
well,
want
right
to
now.
why I want to see Deadpool in that is because how he breaks the fourth wall. How he would straight up be like, "What universe are we like?" And he would be like, "Oh,
What
that would be-"
timeline
I
are
was
we
like,
on?
who are you talking to?
Like in the first Deadpool, we're gonna take you to see the professor, McAvoy or Stewart. I can't get these timelines straight.
Heck yeah, dude. I'm excited about
I
that.
love it.
Hey, speaking of going back a little bit, the Academy Awards.
Oh gosh,
We've all seen it. The
It's-
whole internet knows about it. The whole world. Like, I feel like we couldn't find a single person who doesn't know about it.
it
Right.
blew up so quick.
Instantly.
What are we talking? Whoa.
The slap.
Oh,
around the world.
I was so lost. Yes, yeah, the slap.
The
Heard
slap.
around the
Will
world.
Smith walking up on stage in the middle of the Oscars and slapping Chris Rock hard across the face.
Yeah,
Dude, I'm honestly surprised that man was standing after that.
Chris
slap.
Rock is a champ.
He's
for-
a rock.
He's built like one.
Have you? Speaking of that, have you seen the little play where it's Dwayne Johnson up on stage, and he's like, "Hey Jada, I can't wait to see G.I. Jane 2," and Will Smith is just laughing because he's like, he's not going up on stage.
Dude, that was, well, what are your guys' thoughts?
So the thing I thought was hilarious, and maybe I'm wrong, but the vibe I was getting from just the whole internet blast of it is that it seemed like Will Smith thought he was going to be the favored one in the situation, that he was sticking up for his woman and blah, blah, blah. And come to find out, everybody's pissed at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he was in the wrong in the situation.
Oh,
and
100%.
I think it's hilarious that he's like shocked about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I think he was completely in the wrong.
Well, did you see the Jim Carrey interview?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so Jim Carrey put it perfectly, and I can't remember the whole thing, but there was a part that I liked a lot because he was saying, he was like, you know, if you want to shout something from the audience, fine, but he's like, the fact that he got up, interrupted the show, did all that, he said, you're taking away from that entire celebration. You've got actors and actresses there who have worked their entire life to be there that night, and now their moment is shadowed by this. And an example I thought of, and granted it's years ago, it's dead now, but the time when Kanye West got up in the middle of Taylor Swift's award and did that whole thing, same type of deal. It's like everybody remembers when Kanye West interrupted the show, but they can't tell you like what award was, blah, blah, blah.
Because Kanye West is a douchebag.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But yeah, like it was insane. Like at first I thought it was funny. I was laughing. But then like the more I saw it, because you couldn't help but see it like 100 times over the next 2 days. Like I feel bad for him at the same time.
I was gonna say I kind of feel bad for Will Smith for the fact that
he's a broken man.
He is. I mean, just over a year ago we found out that his wife cheated on him.
Yep.
Like multiple times.
Yup, and probably still is.
Like
I don't follow the whole thing, but from what I understand, she's like proud about it.
Oh
yeah.
Like to the root, honestly, I think Jada's to blame for all of this.
Yes.
And I hate her. I don't think she's a good actress. I don't think she's a good person.
Well,
I think she's terrible.
The fact of the matter is there was another video that I saw of everything. So Will Smith walks up. She gets upset at the fact that he makes the joke. And Will Smith is laughing at it at first. Then he sees that his wife is upset. So that's when he takes things into his own hands. So then all of a sudden, as he's walking, Will Smith's walking back, Chris Rock makes his comment as like, I just got the shit slapped out of me by Will Smith.
Yeah.
And Jada starts laughing. And then, Will Smith sits down and stuff like that. And she's still kind of chuckling until he starts yelling, keep your wife's name out of my mouth or out your mouth. And then she kind of stops. But then like throughout the rest of the thing, like she was kind of laughing about things and stuff. And
yeah,
I think
she ruined him.
I think she's ruined Will Smith to a point where, and some people have mentioned it, like he's got some personal issues and some demons that he needs to take care of. And I think it's her fault that those demons are there.
Because here's the thing, is because they talked about how they had an open marriage or they were separated, all this stuff. And I watched a little bit of those videos because I wanted more context. And basically, when they're talking, why are you talking about this in a public environment?
Right? They did it like in a huge interview
where everyone can see it all the time.
Yeah.
And two, like clearly they were not on the same page about it.
No.
Like she likes to talk about it and think they are, but you can see on his face like he's going along with it, but it hurts him.
Well,
deep.
he's got tears in his eyes. He's like red faced, and
That's where that meme sprouted from. Right?
And this just happened last year.
Yeah.
That they talked about it. This has been going on for years. But like the biggest thing is that she got feelings for this guy, which was what's his name? It's like August something. He's some rapper. It's Jaden's friend or whatever.
Yeah.
August Ames or something like that.
Yeah. And he's like half the age of her. And like,
jeez,
it's ridiculous. Like you took Will Smith, who honestly used to be I feel like a pillar of a person. Like,
oh yeah, dude, he was a
was
fantastic
iconic.
role model.
Oh yeah,
great role model in a lot of amazing movies and TV shows. Super funny, and you reduced him to the shell of a man. And I think he hit his breaking point in that moment at the Oscars.
Yeah, it's sad that it had to be at such an event too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. And like poor Chris Rock, I think he handled it incredibly well.
Yeah,
did you
he
see,
did.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see that other clip going around where I don't know the person, but they were someone else was coming up to get their award, and they like shook hands and hugged Will Smith, and this was after the incident, and then went up on stage to like accept their award, and Chris Rock I think this was like literally right after it, because then Chris Rock's face, he's just like, because he saw the hug and everything, and he's just like so confused, and he's just standing up there like, what is going on? Like
see that. He gets really confused.
You can see it in his eyes that he's like, is this for real? Like you almost,
because Will Smith is like pretending nothing even happened at that point.
Yeah. And then not even 10 minutes later, he got an award for best actor.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
then
Like,
P.
what the
Diddy,
freak?
P. Diddy comes out, tries to make light of it, and he's like, hey, Will and Chris, we're going to have you guys finish this out in the schoolyard or something like that, and tries to make a joke about it. And it's just like, this is so awkward.
So awkward. And you felt it. Because I remember when we first all saw it, everyone was like, was this real?
Yeah, it felt staged.
It
at
did.
first.
It did, but the more you watch it, you're like, no, like
What got
especially when he's yelling.
Yeah, it was the yelling part because then you're watching the audience too, and it's just like everybody's like, like kind of just that like awkward.
Did you see the picture of all the different actors' reactions?
Yes,
And you have Ryan Gosling like,
yes.
everyone's like shocked, and he's like,
Oh gosh.
Well, he probably thought it was a play.
yeah. But and here's what my thoughts on it is like one. Because the Oscars like viewership has dropped drastically over the years.
Yeah.
And again, because it sucks. Nobody wants to watch a bunch of rich people pat each other on the back and tell us that we're the bad ones.
Yeah.
Well, and get up on stage and give some big political speech about
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so people were like, well, it's it's a ploy. It was staged by the Oscars to gain viewership, to get attention. It's like, okay, like, but the problem with that is that one, the Oscars are already over. Now, everyone's talking about it after the fact. Two, nobody's going to their actual website or the news channel to watch it. Everyone's going on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and all these other places that aren't even related
Yeah.
to watch it. And no one's going to watch it next year just to see if someone gets slapped.
Next year
Nobody cares.
they're gonna advertise it. Remember this last year? What's gonna happen this year?
Yeah, seriously.
They're gonna start doing it like a boxing match.
Yep.
Well, here's
Next.
my question: Will Smith left the Academy.
He resigned, yeah.
He resigned. So what does that even do? Like, what does that matter? What does that? What's
To
the
me, it
repercussions of that?
To me, it just basically means he can't ever win an Academy Award.
Which who the hell cares? Like,
Right?
I mean, look how long it took for DiCaprio to win an Academy Award.
Yeah.
The funny thing
I
with that
mean-
is everybody, even Hollywood, like everybody knows that DiCaprio should have had one forever ago.
Oh yeah. And they were even saying because what did he get it for? He got it for
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
No, he got it for
He got it for
Revenant.
The
yeah,
Revenant.
Brad Pitt got it
And-
for Once Upon a Time. That's right.
And a lot of people were even saying that The Revenant wasn't even his best movie ever.
It
made.
wasn't.
They felt like it was a pity, like, oh, we're sorry we snubbed you so many times. Here, take this award now.
I can name so
I
many.
actually
us.
really like The Revenant.
No,
Oh, no,
I really
I
liked
liked it
it.
a lot.
But what a lot of people are getting at is saying that he's done so many better roles
Django Unchained.
than The Revenant that he should have won an Oscar for earlier on.
Hell, he should have won it all the way back with What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Oh my gosh.
When he played the little kid in that, people thought, because he was still such a fresh face and people still...
I really thought he was handicapped.
Yeah. So many people thought he was really a handicapped kid in that.
See, I think of in Django Unchained when he's at the dinner table and he slams his hand on the table.
Oh,
He
yeah.
actually broke that glass on
Yeah.
accident, and he keeps going. So he's cut and bleeding.
Yeah.
Real blood.
And then he proceeds
And he
to
keeps
rub
going.
his
And
hand
he
on the
rubs it
girl's
all over her
face.
face. And he's I watched this video. He's recounting the story, and he rubs it all over his face. And Quentin Tarantino, who's behind the camera, he like. It's like, oh. Like, he realizes what he just did. And he's like, oh.
How would it be to be the actress and
You're
have
just
to
like,
stay
yeah.
in character? Like, this motherfucker just wiped his blood all over me. Like,
Think of the pressure too, because like
you can't break.
exactly,
Yeah.
he's going along with it, and so you don't want to be the one that ruins it.
ugh.
But it was so good,
That's a movie I have not seen. I need to see it.
bro.
You
You
ever
need
seen
to watch
Django?
I
that.
haven't.
Django's
Oh,
It's,
so
my
wild.
gosh.
It's way good.
Okay, I'll have to watch it this
The
week.
D is silent.
But,
Mr. Django.
well, the one that...
What's that? What's that? That same thing, the Conan O'Brien thing, where he's with one of the brothers. Oh, what's the name?
Wait, which
Who's
brothers?
James Franco's little brother.
Oh gosh.
Dave Franco.
Yeah, Dave
Franco,
Franco.
Dave Franco, him and Conan.
Oh, when they
are
make
on
the Tinder?
Tinder profile.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Oh no, what is it?
what's his name?
His like made up Tinder name.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, the D's silent.
What is it?
Brownstone. Something Brownstone.
What? Let me see here. Different. Let me make it.
Oh my gosh. It's
Oh,
one of my,
Django Roundstone.
is that what it is?
Yeah,
Genghis.
But the
It's
D's
Genghis.
silent,
But
so
it
it's
says
Roundstone.
it's DEJENGUS Roundstone.
Genghis
So
Roundstone.
Genghis Roundstone, but he spells it Djangus.
But the D is silent.
But there's an E. And Genghis. Oh gosh, I love it.
So funny. I love it.
That's wild. But yeah, like I honestly at this point, and that's what's crazy about Jim Carrey retiring, is after watching the video of him talking about Will Smith, I was like, this is the most like sober and normal we've seen Jim Carrey in years.
I wonder if he's retiring if he's just done with Hollywood. I wonder if he's done with the politics.
That interview is kind of the vibe I got, that he just.
You know what I'm talking about?
What the hell are you doing?
Oh,
Wait, that's something we need to. That's something we need to go into.
it's the Illuminati, bro.
With the
Dude,
tongue?
I wonder. Oh, there's an interview you need to watch of him.
All right.
It's
crazy.
kind of in the beginning of him acting like super strange.
I want to say it's also with Conan, isn't it?
You might, I think so.
Yeah,
I think you might be right.
So that's the sign of the Illuminati.
Yeah.
The all seeing eye,
whatever.
the triangle.
Well,
And so,
But he
Without
goes
the
into
tongue, though.
he goes
That's what
into
I'm
he
confused
goes
about.
into the studio, and that's what he does, like to everyone.
yeah,
And he's like, he sounds at first like he's joking, but then he comes off as serious, and you're like, oh wow, he's kind of lost it.
Kind of like when Tom Cruise with the whole Scientology thing snapped.
Still in that. Huh. That's a whole nother thing we need to talk about sometime. Those guys are psycho. In fact, somebody
Oh yeah, it
had
was
made a
that-
whole Twitter thing about how is Will Smith part of Scientology?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I thought you were going to mention that Netflix special that came out a while back of that what's her name?
She was in the Kevin James show.
Yeah, she was the wife in King of Queens and stuff. She had a whole Netflix series about Scientology and how it's like dangerous.
I watched some of
Really?
it, dude.
Yeah.
There-
Was she like in it?
She
Yeah,
was.
she was. She was way
She
deep
talks
into
about
it.
how she got out of it, but the steps that
was
she had to
Travolta.
take and everything, and even just by doing that Netflix special, she has to have like 24-hour bodyguards now from here on out.
Dude, there's like rumors of them snuffing people out. Like we're talking like high up cult, like large group with tons of influence.
Really?
Yeah, it's nuts.
But yet the Mormons are the crazy ones.
Right?
I don't know, man. Have you ever tried to leave?
No, I have not.
I don't want to.
Why don't you?
I can leave at any time, Austin. I just don't want to.
I'm just kidding.
No, the only reason I said that is just because I was listening to a podcast earlier today, and they interviewed Chelsea Handler, and I guess she
can't
used to
stand
be
her.
Mormon or grew up Mormon,
Oh, she's garbage.
and she's horrible. But she just what she was explaining about the LDS Church, and she was like, "Yeah, they're a cult. You can't leave them, even if you try to leave, and they're horrible people, and blah blah blah." Like she went off, and I was like,
Who's Chelsea Handler?
She's
horrible
a garbage.
comedian.
She's not even. I wouldn't even call her a
I wouldn't
comedian.
even call it.
She's
she
a
was
terrible
supposed to be.
TV host who tries
Yeah.
to make jokes, but they suck.
Kind of like that.
She has her own show.
Who's that?
Okay.
Kind of slightly heavier set girl that Amy.
Amy. Can't remember. Her
Talk
name.
about another talk show host.
Yeah, Amy
Yeah.
something.
So Chelsea
But-
Handler did Chelsea or what was it? Chelsea Tonight or
I don't know. Have you
Late Night
seen
with Tiger anyways.
This Means War with Tom Hardy and Chris Pine where they're fighting over Reese Witherspoon?
Yeah.
Chelsea Handler is Reese Witherspoon's
Oh,
best
it
friend.
is.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Which in that movie she actually wasn't too bad, but like otherwise she's annoying. But
anywho.
anywho,
That was a little tangent. Sorry.
Yeah, another one for another time.
what else is in the news?
But I mean, here's the most controversial ones we'll probably talk about tonight. But we mentioned Disney.
Oh,
Keep Disney out your mouth.
All right, Will.
Keep Disney out of the mouth.
But I mean, like, Disney's been in a lot of news lately, and it hasn't looked good.
yeah.
No, it has not. Unfortunately,
But
I think if Walt knew what was going on with his company right now, he'd be rolling over in his grave. They're doing
don't
some
know, let's
things.
If he
ask-
knew what was going on right now, it means he wouldn't be dead, so he wouldn't be in a grave.
Well, that's true too. A lot of other people would be in their graves.
Whoa, he's probably got mob ties. I bet he does.
Yeah, I bet
He
he
probably
does.
did.
around that time,
Hell, for
guarantee
sure.
it.
For sure.
He's probably part of that Illuminati.
Oh yeah, dude.
No, just the mob. Illuminati's I feel like a little dark for Walt. The mob's not that dark.
Oh, okay.
I'm
All right.
just kidding.
All right.
But like some of the biggest ones is so there's that thing going on in Florida. They have the I believe they call it the anti-grooming bill or law.
I haven't looked into it.
Yeah.
People commonly call it the don't say gay bill, especially the people who are against it, because they don't really understand what it is. And what it is basically it's a law put in place that says that teachers are not allowed to teach sexual education or teach about matters of sexual nature, whether it be like sexual orientation, attraction, transgenderism, any of that stuff. You're not allowed to talk about the stuff to kids in school until after 3rd grade. So like 4th grade and up.
Okay, that's great.
I mean, it makes
Yeah,
perfect
like-
sense to me.
Yeah, I don't need what Rose right now. She's in 3rd grade. I don't need her learning about sexual orientation. She's still a kid.
Well, that's
Exactly.
that's
She
just
doesn't need
it,
to learn
dude.
about that
They're
stuff.
wanting, well, right now, 49 other states. So the only state, Florida, is the only one that requires them to be in 4th grade or older.
Yep.
Every other state in the union, you can talk about it to kids in 1st
No.
grade, 2nd grade, 3rd
I remember
grade.
I had
And
my
I honestly
first one
think-
in 6th grade, and I still felt a little.
I think 4th grade's too soon. I honestly don't think the teachers should be teaching my kids about sex at all.
I think
That's my job.
I think the sex education, as far as like the anatomy of the body
Uh-huh.
and like how pregnancy works, as far as that goes, you know,
All the
Oh, that's-
STDs you can get.
yeah,
That's-
like the basic stuff as far as just how the body works. But going into like sexual attraction and your feelings, and you know, maybe you're in a man's body, but you feel like you're supposed to be a woman, blah, blah, blah. Like none of that is educational as far as like it shouldn't be taught in schools at all.
Called
That's something that if you want to
indoctrination.
teach it in your household, by all means. But
Well, that's it was 5th or 6th grade. We had our maturation video.
Well, for us, for me anyway, mine was 6th grade.
Yeah, so
and
I
even
I feel like
even
that's what it was.
still, I needed to go home with a permission
and
slip
get it signed
Yeah.
by your
and
parents.
get it signed by my parents, so they knew that I was getting taught what I was getting taught.
Exactly.
There was like guidelines and everything
Yeah.
of what they were going to go over. They even invited the parents to come and join,
Yep.
which
Gonna
was
say, yep.
extremely weird as a kid.
Right.
oh, see, my dad came
Oh,
Well, and that's
whoa!
to the class.
See, I saw the joke, but I was avoiding it.
and they even split up the class though. Like girls were
Yeah.
in their own, guys
Yeah.
were in our own. And the funny thing is I even remember the full class. It was just talking about the male anatomy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like I remember
Talking
the
about going
teacher
through
up
puberty
there.
and stuff.
Yeah, the teacher up there, and she was like specifically trained for this stuff, but she had pulled up a picture of a penis and she goes, "All right, guys, what do you call it?" And literally, you ask a bunch of 6th graders, and you're hearing wiener, tallywhacker, schlong,
The kid in the back.
and all of these, like
Shut up,
everybody.
Richard.
One kid raises up his hand and he's like, "Can I really say?" She goes, "I don't care. What do you guys call it? I
Get it-
want to
get
know.
it out of your
Get
system,
it out.
kids."
Let's go." And it was like every name that you could think of for it.
She's over there taking notes. Like, wow, really?
It's like
I'm
that
going home
video,
to my husband with that one.
video of the kid when he's trying to milk a cow and he just barely touches the other and he's like, "Ah, that's a penis."
I haven't seen this.
So funny.
Like just like you though, my dad joined me at the thing. I found it extremely uncomfortable.
I would
having
find
my
it
dad-
uncomfortable with your dad too.
I was like,
Because
"Oh, man."
he's probably like not quietly going, "Austin, raise your hand. Ask about the vagina."
Austin, ask her why it burns when you pee. Go ahead.
Tell her you're asking for a friend. Dude, all I remember was the little tiny deodorant.
Oh,
Yep.
Did you
I
not
do-
get deodorant?
I do remember
that.
Yeah, dude. Well, because it's part of
Was
your
it
it's puberty.
sponsored?
Yeah, by
This
Old
is
Spice,
sponsored
bro.
by Old Spice.
Yeah, I remember
Because it's puberty.
One of the things that sticks out in my head is the guy was talking about how your voice starts to squeak.
Does your voice just?
It just squeaked.
It always happens.
Always. But I just remember he had a, I want to say it was like a moose call, or not moose, elk call. But he put it in like the back of his throat so it would just randomly squeak as he was talking. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I know.
Like
what
a
it is.
reed.
Yeah.
It's something that Chris probably has if he were here with us. He could
Yes.
tell us about it.
But yeah, and so he was using that, and it was funny. It got everybody laughing because it would just randomly do it. He couldn't control it. It was just sitting in the back of his throat. And that's a memory of it that sticks out to me for some weird reason.
Well, because it's funny.
Yeah.
You're probably laughing a lot.
Right? That, and then,
A core memory was made.
well, and then another weird one was the instructor was asking, like, I can't remember the exact question, but it was something along the lines of, who can name what changes your body goes through when you go through puberty? And my dad told me, he was like, tell him that you grow hair in funny spots. And so I said that, and everybody thought that was funny. And I was like, I don't see why that's so funny.
That's when he's like, I'm a comedian.
And with these powers,
They're all laughing with me.
I shall make a podcast with friends.
I shall find 4 other friends with this gift, and we shall record.
Oh,
It just reminds me of 40-Year-Old Virgin, where he goes to the maturation thing with his girlfriend's daughter or whatever, because she's going to learn about sex, and so he wants to go too.
Oh, yeah.
And then he raises his hand. He's like, "All right, there's no such thing as a stupid question. Anybody, go ahead, ask what you want." And he's like, "Is it true that if you don't use it, that you'll lose it?" And the guy's like, kind of stupid question is that? Oh no, I just heard. I was just asking for the young people here just to make sure. So it's not true.
I love when he talks about like the touching breasts.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, hey, I've touched breasts. He's like, okay, what does it feel like? He's like bags of sand.
Like, what?
But see, yeah, like this is stuff that
Well, because
I
yeah,
think they
I
should at least
remember
be a lot older.
because
Yeah,
then
we
there
went
was
off the deep end, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. That's
Down
all
our own
right.
core memories.
because then when was the one? Because we had the one where they separated us and they talk about just kind of the changes in the body, and then there was the actual like sex education class that I want to say
I
was
feel like it was
either
ninth grade.
I was going to say either late junior high or early high school, and that was combined. You had the boys and girls together.
We had
and
to
it
watch
was-
the birth video
Yeah.
from the
I watched
70s.
I watched the birth
really
video.
early.
And I was like in 11th grade when I watched that video. Whew.
11th grade?
Yeah, it was
I think
11th. It was like 10th or 11th
Maybe
grade for
I know.
me.
Yeah, I know it was in
Yeah.
high school because I was in
Yeah.
Colorado when I watched it.
Well, so for me, I had the orientation in 6th grade. And then I had, I think it was like sex ed. Maybe it was just
And that's the thing.
sex
is,
education.
But they didn't
I
call
can't
it
remember.
sex ed. They called it something else.
Yeah.
That was in like 8th or 9th grade. And then I had the actual, that class where you had like the video and you see the baby coming out and
Yeah,
all that.
that's
That
right.
was in like 11th grade.
and
That's
then
right.
that's also the class where they showed all the pictures of like
STDs.
STDs and
Uh-huh.
stuff. And,
Oh.
those are horrific.
Oh.
I mean, it worked. I was like, no, thank you.
But here's the issue with all of that though, is when it comes down to it, I remember distinctly having a piece of paper and a form. And
Yep.
Yes.
you had to have it okay by your parents to learn about this in school. If your parents did not okay it, you were put into a different room or you went and did something else.
Yeah.
But also,
And that's how I think it should be. I should be, if I want my kids to learn about it at school, I should know when they're doing it, almost the course guide,
Well-
and then okay it and say, oh yeah, that's good. But
so Kaylee just barely had hers.
yeah,
And they did. They sent home a permission slip. They explained everything. They even sent a link to the video that they would show them.
Wow.
And so Shaylee watched the video. I need to. She said it was funny. But she watched the video and then she would give permission to whether or not Kaylee could go and learn about it in that moment and if she wanted to go with her. And she was going to go with her, but ended up that Shaylee had to go to like a doctor's appointment. So she just didn't even have Kaylee go because we already had the talk with her ourselves. So she's up. She gets it. But and so yeah, she didn't even go to it and she didn't even care. She was like, oh, thank goodness. But thinking out of it though, in this conversation, that one in elementary school didn't talk about like having sex.
No, not a
It was
bit.
straight
it was
up
just
just
about
puberty.
the body
I
and
think
what you're
the-
going to go through.
I think on the guy's side of it, the closest to sex was it talked about getting an erection.
Yeah.
But that's
Which
not even.
up to that point I thought was like a thermometer, and I thought it got hard with the temperature. As a kid, I legit thought I was like,
Oh crap, Dad, summer's coming.
I can't remember if I thought it got hard in the cold or hard in the heat. But I remember it like
It is a brisk 86 out here.
I remember just thinking like, oh man, the temperature must have changed.
Oh my
And I had no idea what was going on.
Could you imagine?
I know, I did. I lived it.
Cam's the girl on Mean Girls.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
I can tell my breast can tell when it's raining outside.
There's a 99% chance it's already raining.
Oh
Cam's
my
like,
gosh.
I can tell by my erection how hot it is outside.
But the thing is it annoyed me because I'm like, why is it's so uncomfortable in my pants? I don't like this.
I'll never forget when Jude got his first one. If he ever goes back to listen to this, I'm sorry.
You're the only one with a boy.
But oh yeah, that's true. Chris isn't here.
Yep.
But yeah, first time, and it surprising. I mean, it starts right even when they're a baby. Like even Reggie right now, he'll get them every once in a while. But when Jude was like old enough that he was talking and everything, and then he got one, and he just kind of he giggles a little bit and goes, "Mommy, I got a big wiener."
Appropriate response.
And as a father, you're like, yes, you do, son. Yes, you do.
Oh gosh, that thing was seen in the ultrasound easy. It's like, my son has 3 legs. Oh, never mind. We're good.
Dude, that's so funny.
That's awesome.
That reminds me of the Family Guy one where
Where he sees Chris.
yeah, Chris or Peter accidentally walks in on Chris and sees Chris's wiener and how big it is, and then Peter gets all like, what's the word? He gets all flustered about it, self-conscious, because Peter doesn't have one. It's like half the size of Chris. So he spends the rest of the show basically like, I can't remember what he does, but he basically boasts Chris up because he's got a large one.
Back on the subject though of the bill and everything.
Oh yeah.
So there were some videos that I was watching, and it kind of made me sick because as a teacher, you're there to teach curriculum.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You're not there to impose political views.
Yep.
You're not there to impose sexual orientation or anything like that. Like, especially at the age that they're worried, like that a lot of these teachers are quitting from what I'm hearing, right? Like, so the bill passed in Florida.
Yes.
And as a rebuttal, a lot of those teachers that didn't agree with the bill passing have quit and, did whatever. But a lot of them,
they want to be able to teach that stuff.
yes, they don't agree with it. But in my mind, all you're doing, if that's a concern of yours, you're not there to teach.
Yep.
You're there to groom.
Yeah.
And that is not right.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
Here's the issue. I'm a 3rd grade teacher, and I got a boy coming up to me and saying, "Teacher, I don't know what the issue is, but I have feelings for this other boy in class." I'd say, go talk to your parents about it. This is not a discussion I need to have with you.
exactly.
Like,
As a teacher, I would feel so uncomfortable even
right?
talking about it.
Even in 10th grade or 11th grade or a senior, if someone came up to me, who maybe there was a student who, got a close bond with or something like that, and they came up to me one day and said, "I just don't know how to feel. I've got this feelings for this other boy," or a girl says, "I got this feelings for another girl." I'd be like, that is a line crossed, and you need to go home and talk to your parents about that.
Yeah.
Like, there is no room for any of that
'cause
inside the classroom at all.
Well, none of these teachers have any doctorates in psychology unless they are a teacher of psychology in a collegiate course.
Yeah.
So it's none of their business to be teaching any of this stuff.
It's like that one. Do you remember the video? It was one of the, I want to say it was a high school here in like southern Utah or mid southern Utah where she was going off about Trump. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
That was at my niece's school.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
and a student was secretly filming her. She didn't know she was being filmed, but she was just going off on Trump, and the students
Dropping
were kind
the
of
F-bomb.
like the
But like
students
telling
were
the students they were dumb, kind of.
yeah, the students were kind of trying to fight back, and she's like, "Well, then you're stupid." Like,
Yeah.
she was just going off.
The
and-
part that pissed me off the most was that she said, "Your parents are stupid."
And you shouldn't listen
And
to
you
them.
shouldn't listen to them. Like
Yep.
they're trying to incite some sort of internal riot between your family,
Yeah.
trying to cause a divide that doesn't need to be there.
So here's my question. She gets fired over that because of her political stance and what she was trying to force upon the kids. But someone tries to force their political stance on a sexual orientation, and that's okay.
Not even remotely.
Like the schools are going to just stand for it and say, "Oh yeah, no, that's fine."
Well,
That's fine.
I read one where it was this guy. He was gay, and he's married, has adopted children, and he's a teacher, and he was very upset about the bill in Florida because now he can't talk to his kids about his husband and their relationship, and it's like,
What are you
Why
doing
are
talking
you
about
in
your
the first
husband and-
place?
Yeah.
like I didn't know a single one of my teachers' significant others.
Exactly.
Names. That's
Exactly.
not they exist to teach me things. I don't give a crap what they do outside of that school.
It's like I bet at least 90% of my teachers I couldn't tell you their first name.
for real.
Yeah, dude, for real.
Like,
Like you shouldn't be that familiar.
yeah,
I'm all for students having a great relationship with
Well,
their
yeah,
teacher
for
and
sure.
like for educational
Yeah,
purposes.
but it needs to
See,
be
and-
on a school level and not on a personal
Exactly.
And
level.
let me
that's-
just
go
and
ahead.
let me just throw in this disclaimer. We're not against you being, trans, bi, gay, anything. You be what you want. We don't care about that. This is about teaching kids things that shouldn't they have no purpose in
They're
teaching.
not at an age of emotional health
Capacity.
or capacity to be talking or learning about these things.
there's just certain things that need to be taught in the household and nowhere else.
Yes.
Yeah. And I get that like the argument for that is that some households are not having these conversations.
Yeah.
True.
Okay, well, then there is a psychiatrist at the school who has a doctorate in psychology and can then
And
either
that's-
provide them help or give them means of help.
That's a great point. Like how Zach was kind of talking earlier about how if he were a teacher and a student comes up to him and says, "Hey, I don't know what's going on. I'm having feelings for this guy. I'm a guy. I don't know if this is normal." And as the teacher, it's like, well, then you should talk to your parents. It's like, I tried, but it just got weird. And it's like, okay, well then how would you feel about talking to the school counselor? Let's go set you up
Yeah.
with them. Like,
Well, and-
Exactly.
and that's what scares me. And this will probably tick some people off, but like I feel like a lot of these situations, that's the problem, is people don't understand the feelings they're having.
yeah.
So it easily in that situation, you could have somebody who might be gay also, and they're just like, you know what, go for it. That's what you feel. That's what you are. And it could be that now this person who actually just had really strong feelings of friendship,
Yeah.
maybe they come from a difficult home, and this friend has shown them kindness and love, and they're misinterpreting that as
Yep.
feelings of attraction. You know what I mean?
Well, a lot of it could and again, I'm not trying to sound bad on homosexuality or anything, but a lot of it could be from like an abusive home. Like you hear about these people who were sexually abused, and so now they don't want anything to do with that gender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, or vice versa. Now that is the gender that they're attracted to because that's what they felt. Like if a father sexually abuses a son, and so now that son grows up to like men because of it, you know, I don't know. I don't know how it all works. But
Yeah, there's too much nuance. There's too many things, but it's that children just shouldn't be thinking about that stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
In third grade, the most that they should be worried about is recess and when their next favorite TV show's coming on.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Or what game's coming out. Or,
Exactly.
like I don't real talk, like when did you have your like first real crush?
6th
I mean,
grade?
I did have
Probably
a crush in elementary
well,
school.
I was going to say probably 4th grade.
But
yeah,
again,
actually
like
4th grade, like fourth
Fourth or
grade.
fifth.
But did you?
there was nothing sexual
Yeah,
about it.
exactly. It was never sexual. It was just like I find her really cute, and
You're
I
It
like,
was one of
she's
those things
cute
where it's
and
like, I like the
fun.
way she does her hair and she's funny. And
Yeah.
like, yeah, there
She's
wasn't
cute.
like an actual,
Yeah.
oh, I'm picturing her naked type thing.
Exactly. Like it's
That was
it's innocent.
so
grade.
far from your mind. Mhm.
Yeah, and so there was another post about this, and I kind of it was a friend of mine that is gay, and they shared something about how this whole thing is just garbage, and I was like, look, in my household, my kids will learn to grow up and love everyone.
everybody.
It doesn't matter
Be kind.
how they, who they love or anything like that. They'll just be kind to everyone. And I will respect my kids for whatever they grow up to be, but it is not a teacher's place to teach my kids what to do in those circumstances.
Yep.
That is a father-daughter conversation. That is a mother-daughter conversation. Or if they need outside help,
And
like especially at that young of an age, man,
Yeah.
it just
Well,
doesn't make sense.
and because kids that young don't know anything. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're thinking, what they're feeling. That's our duty as parents to help them understand that.
yeah,
Kids like I saw a post today from this girl and she was like, "Thank you. I just want to say thank you to my mom for letting me go through a tomboy phase and not putting me on puberty blockers and trying to change my gender."
exactly.
Oh, wow.
Exactly.
And like it's just because of today's politics. Like my niece was very much a tomboy for a while. She's not anymore.
That was one of my best friends growing up.
Exactly.
One of my best friends growing up. She was tomboy. She did all the stuff. In fact, so my mom at the time and her friend were over Boy Scouts, like over doing all the Boy Scouts and stuff. And she came to all the activities. And then they made her an honorary Boy Scout and all that stuff. Like, but she went through all this stuff. She did all the stuff that the boys like to do. But the end of it all, like, she grew up. She still did all that stuff. She's now married, has a couple kids. In fact, I even made fun of her a little while ago. She just had a little girl. And I was like, what are you going to do with the little girl? You're not even a girl yourself. And she just started laughing and she goes, I don't know what I'm going to do with the girl either. So she's just going to turn out to be a tomboy like I was.
Well, hey, I mean,
But-
my kids upstairs, Micah and Paige, I let them play with, do whatever.
Yeah.
Like Micah loves Batman, dude.
Yep.
She'll wear a Batman outfit. She'll run around, talking in deep voices.
She's the cutest little Batman I've ever seen. I'm not going to lie.
And Paige will run around in a football jersey. Like they're just kids.
Yeah.
I'm letting them be kids.
Same. Scarlett's all about Spider-Man.
Yeah, and it's like it's their journey. They don't need outside influence on their journey.
Exactly.
Unless they're prompting and asking for it, but that comes from family.
Yeah,
That
like
comes from
the scary thing to me is that your kid goes to school, like our girls go to school in like baggy clothes, and some teacher's like, "Oh, you like wearing like baggy boys' clothes? That must mean you're a boy." And it's like, no, why are you putting these ideas in their head? They just like comfortable clothes.
yeah,
Don't
exactly.
we all?
That's like Austin in junior high. He was very pretty. We were worried
He was a
about him.
handsome
No
fellow.
way. You guys don't remember. I
pretty
was
man.
a scary kid.
Maybe it was early high school then. There was a phase where it's like, I think Austin's knocking at that closet door. Right?
What did we called him? We called him Metro. Remember? like that type of guy we called Metro because they were very much about like. I remember this kid in my high school in Colorado. He had a freaking lint roller with him 24/7. So we'd get into class and he'd be primping his jacket. He'd pull out a freaking lint roller and he's like,
The funny thing is I'm now that like I don't know. I consider it more OCD than metrosexual, but
I don't know, Tony. I think you might be a woman.
I've always wondered what was going on.
But like that's the thing is like we can't just let kids like I remember when I was a kid, there was even a video of this, but like me and my friends, I think there were 3 or 4 of us boys, and we had older sisters, and they convinced us to all dress up in like leotards and dance clothes and
that
dance.
was just last year.
That was last
Just
year.
mentioned too.
It wasn't that long ago either. But like here we are, like 7-year-olds, and we're like, we got like what are those things called? The boas? That's what it is, right? A
Yeah,
boa, like
the
the feathery
Oh,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
And we had like leotards on, and we're like dancing and stuff, and like completely dressed up like girls. And I feel like today, our parents would have taken us to the doctor the next day to like change it up.
To snip it off.
You know what I mean? Like that's what's scary. It's like it's
like, just
can't
let 'em.
kids just do weird things and not identify that way for the rest of their life?
Did every single one of us go through an identity phase? Like,
for
whether
sure.
it was like emo or whatever it was. I know
Yeah.
I went through a really emo phase.
Isn't that what junior high and high school is?
pretty much?
Just finding
You did.
out who you
Did
are?
you?
I don't know.
Of course you wouldn't.
I went through. I don't know. I guess
He was
I went,
born with a beard.
I went through a geeky phase. I guess I don't know.
When are you gonna get out of it?
There we go again.
Same joke, different way.
Yeah. My phase was I didn't come out. I was like really in a shell actually through junior high, like 7th, 8th, and 9th
I
grade.
was too, actually.
I didn't come out of my shell until after high school for sure.
But
That's when I moved to Colorado. That's like literally changed everything for me. I became the man you see before you.
the man
So-
that we all know and love.
So to slightly take us back, you brought up the Disney thing. So what?
Yeah.
So back on that, what's going on with
So
that?
this whole thing, all of this in Florida, sparked Disney. I saw an article where Lightyear, the new movie, was coming out, and apparently there was a same-sex kiss in the movie between like a captain and like her wife. And previously they removed it from the film, but then because of all the controversy of the Florida bill and a bunch of people in Disney World kind of protesting Disney for not doing or saying anything about it, Disney decided to put the kiss back into the TV show, into the movie. And it became this whole thing because it goes along the same lines of what we're talking about. Like, it doesn't need to be in a children's movie.
No.
Nothing. You don't need to have anybody kiss in a children's movie.
That's it right there.
Yeah.
There's no
It's not
reason.
because it's two women kissing. That's not the point. It's like, why do you have to have kissing at all?
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it's been in Disney since the beginning. Look at Snow White, one of the
Snow White and
most
Prince Charming.
yeah, one of the most earliest Disney movies. He kisses her to wake her up. Like a kiss has always been in Disney, but you don't have to. It's like if it's going to start to raise this much controversy, then just no kissing at all.
Yeah. Just avoid it. Like,
Well, that's have you seen the new memes? Speaking of those, have you seen the new memes about like Sleeping Beauty and her prince, and then Snow White and her prince, and it's like they all lean down and kiss them, and then all of a sudden the girl wakes up and goes, "Ew, rape! Why are you kissing me?"
that's how it is now.
Sorry, I wanted to share this earlier and I almost forgot it. One of the things that kind of also makes me mad about this whole teaching, rule or whatever you want to call it, is that it feels like people are trying to rush kids to growing up even faster.
Yeah.
And sexualizing kids even faster. And I feel already it's way too young. Like I feel when we were in junior high and high school, we wore there were the occasionals that did not wear modest clothing.
Yeah.
But for the majority, a lot of them did.
Yeah.
Well,
And so prime example, sorry.
no, you're good.
We were down at VidCon years ago, and I remember we were out there, doing the whole YouTube thing, and I want to say it was Logan Paul. I can't remember.
Yeah,
Someone
it
pulled
was.
up, and there was this giant fanning thing where there were a
He
bunch
caused
of people.
a scene, like a
Yeah.
riot almost.
But there were kids there. Kids, 14 years of age, if not younger. I don't know. I'm terrible at telling age anymore. But this girl was wearing a fishnet shirt. That was it. With electric tape, like black electric tape X's on her, covering her nipples. And I'm like, that is what we need to prevent.
Yep.
That is too young.
Yep.
And so if what we're currently doing has sexualized things to where she is that, or, you know, dressing like that already, we need to slow things down.
Yeah.
We need to not speed things up. You know, kids, like we were saying earlier, they only need to be worrying about recess. They don't need to be worrying about sexual orientation or like how you were saying, you know, taken, you know, what is it? 12 and 13-year-olds can now be taken to go get, you know, sex changes reassignment.
Exactly. Like,
and it's like, we didn't even know who we were until we got out of high school.
No.
And you're going to do something.
Just said that we didn't come out of our shell until after high school.
And what, we're going to permanently change our kids' assignment because of a feeling that they had when they were 13. Dude, do you remember when you were 18 and you thought you knew the world, and then you turned 28 and you're like, wow, I was a dumb 18-year-old
idiot.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't make permanent decisions when they're that young.
Yeah.
They haven't even fully developed yet.
The fact that you can't smoke until you're 18. You can't buy alcohol till you're 21. You can't drive till you're at least 16. All these huge life-changing events you are not legally allowed to do until you're a pretty high age. And yet physically changing your body with scalpels and tools where you have to cut and sew,
not to mention
remove,
medication,
add,
to
take medication, take hormones, mess up your body while it's still growing and trying to produce itself. And that's okay for like an 8-year-old? Like,
Well,
how is that logical in any way?
I remember being back in junior high, and I had just going back and talking to some of my friends that were girls and stuff like that. I remember, like, when you brought up the whole baggy clothes and stuff like that, I remember they were wearing baggy clothes because they were going through puberty. Yeah. And they were starting to get their breasts, and, you know, things were starting to grow, and they were feeling uncomfortable about themselves.
You don't know what's
they
going
don't
on.
want people to see, you know, so they'd start wearing baggy clothes so you can't really see what's going on and all this stuff. And nowadays that doesn't even happen. It's like all of a sudden a girl sprouts boobs and it's like, oh, I got to show these off. I got to make the boys see them. And it's like, no, no.
So kind of on that, like, again, getting kind of personal a little bit, but Jenny was saying that I hope she doesn't care, but when she started her period, she was like embarrassed of it and kind of kept it to herself for the first little while. Well, Brinley was telling us the other day that her friend started hers, and it's like, she's like, how did she say it? She was like, so-and-so started her period. I'm so happy for her because now she's becoming a woman. And it's just like, you're in 5th grade. And it's just like, and it's, and that's kind of it. It's like, Jenny was like dumbfounded because she's like, when I was her age and I was starting, she's like I said, it was kind of a secret. It was a little taboo to talk about it. Where like nowadays, these 5th, 6th, 7th graders who are starting their periods, they're blabbing it out, being all proud of it, talking about it. And it's just like,
did you know that some people actually throw period parties?
Oh, I've heard of those. Yeah.
Some parents do period parties for their girls.
That's a bit much.
When they go through their first period, they will actually literally throw a party.
Well, and
Bloody Marys for everybody.
Oh no.
Oh. They're virgins. Yes. The drinks.
That was perfect.
I hope so.
Wow.
Never mind. We're just going to skate past that. Oh gosh.
Well,
but here's the thing:
edit
is like,
that part out.
Our girl's pediatrician has told us that like kids are starting puberty like younger now.
I wouldn't doubt it.
They are.
Which, well, I mean, and I think I've mentioned this before. Like Kaylee's already there. She's 10, and so, and it's wild because like hearing you talk about that, like it's not. I definitely don't ever want my girls to feel ashamed about their body's natural functions.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so Kaylee will talk to us about it.
Unless they have a thermometer penis, then I'm worried.
Hey, that is a superpower. You just tell us. A storm's coming.
It's really up there. It must be a 95 today.
That's why I don't use a weather app.
It starts to twirl. There's a tornado
Right
outside.
away, everybody. But like, she'll talk to us about it, and I don't want her to feel embarrassed or anything. So I'm like, oh yeah, interesting. Like, yeah, it's crazy. And then she leaves, and I'm just like, ooh,
Yeah.
because like, it's just I don't like to. She's so young.
Well, and that's
I
what
don't want her to grow up.
that's
yet.
what Jenny was saying too. Is she's like I have to make sure I approach this right because I do not want her to shut down about it.
Yeah.
And so I definitely want to, everything she says, I got to take it with open arms, because if we can keep her this open now, then when like the next heavier stuff comes out, she still will feel like she can come to us about it.
It's hard because you're trying to find that line between like, you don't want them to be ashamed or worried or keep it secret, but it's also something you don't just bring up at the dinner table when you're with your in-laws or like at a family reunion. You know what I mean? It's like it's the time and place kind of thing. It's like, hey, maybe let's not talk about blood and stuff at dinner, but don't be afraid to talk about us.
Yeah.
Around, somewhere else, not around everyone's ears kind of thing,
Yeah. So sorry, again, just kind of back on the Disney thing, that kind of just bringing it back. The frustrating thing is that video that someone sent in our chat about one of the high up executives of Disney straight up on camera saying that she's going to plug it in wherever she can until basically she's stopped.
Oh yeah, she calls it her not so secret like gay transgender agenda to fill Disney shows going forward with that stuff.
See, and
that's a huge problem to me.
That's my issue. Here's my thing. You want to have like, even on the Buzz Lightyear thing, if you want to have some girl kissing another girl, I necessarily don't care. I hope that if my kids see it, they'll maybe ask, and then it might strike us a conversation and I can explain to them, hey, blah, 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 yada, yada. I know like Ronnie, she's not going to understand what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
Katie might ask a question and it can give me an opportunity to talk to her about it. My issue with Disney on this whole point is that lady saying that she's going to throw it in and make it basically subliminal messages in every show that she possibly can. That's my issue.
That's indoctrination.
There should be there is no reason or rhyme to do that. Like, I get about all inclusivity and all that stuff. Like, great, that's fine. You want to show a little bit more. You want to make people feel accepted. I have no problem with that. But there's a point where you are doing it in a wrong way, and I feel like that lady in her video 100% in the wrong.
Yeah, like if you have to do it in secret and hide it, then there's something wrong with
and
that.
put it in the background of shows,
exactly,
and stuff like that. Like,
I feel like when they made the live action Beauty and the Beast, you could clearly tell LeFou was gay.
Yes,
yeah,
but they didn't have to come out and say anything. He didn't have to kiss or do anything.
Yeah, they did it amazing. Me and Kara knew. Katie, all the girls, they had no clue.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm like,
if you just act silly,
if you want to, portray homosexuality in it, it's like, do it that way, where it's like, clearly, he's giving Gaston those looks and he's even a little bit feminine in his mannerisms and stuff, but he doesn't have to come out and say it.
Mm-hmm. Or even the part where he looks in the mirror and he goes, one day Belle will be mine. And then he walks away and LeFou looks in the mirror and goes, yes, he will. Or something to the point of that. Like,
well, then there was even the part where the wardrobe dresses those guys up as girls, and the one guy is like all proud of it and like flaunters off and so, and it's like even something like that. It's like he's comfortable in a dress. Once again, they didn't have to make a big deal about it. They just throw it in for a little humor, and it worked.
Exactly. Like I think the moral of the story of all of this is just like, keep our children innocent. Like, don't make them grow up. Don't make them think about things they don't need to be thinking about right now. And what hurts most is that growing up, Disney was a moral teaching unit. I remember watching a lot of Disney movies and TV shows and the Disney Channel original movies, and they all taught us, like, there was a moral to every story. Taught us how to just be kind, how to be good people. It had nothing to do with
until you grow
teaching
up
us.
And realize there's subliminal messages in all the Disney
That
movies.
too. Right? That's just so the adults have a good time while watching with their kids.
Exactly.
No,
it's
but
just-
kind of on that. See, even homosexuality, all this stuff aside, keeping our kids innocent, it's kind of like that's why you shouldn't watch an R-rated movie until you're 17. You shouldn't watch PG-13 until you're 13. Like that's why everything has ratings, is to try and keep our kids innocent. Now, as a parent, if you want to let your 10-year-old watch an R-rated movie, then that's on you. But
then don't be surprised or blame the world when it causes something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like if that kid all of a sudden has these kind of messed up tendencies, or enjoys
Or
the sight of
nightmares.
blood, or violence, or nightmares, or whatever,
Or drops
don't-
the F-bomb
Don't
here
get
and
pissed
there,
off
but-
at Hollywood or whoever made it and be like, "You did this." It's like, no, you're the parent.
Well, here's the
you're
funny,
the last line
here-
of defense.
Here's the funny thing about that. So I remember my first R-rated movie. I could be wrong, but I do remember sitting around as a family night and we all watched Scream. I was like,
Oh my god!
I was like,
nothing says a family-friendly movie.
I was
night.
like 8 or 9 years old, and we did. We got together one night. It was the whole entire family. We watched Scream. Scared the crap out of me.
I saw I saw Scream in theaters.
See? So, but here's the thing,
Look
though,
how you turned
is
out.
there was
A
an
little questionable.
there was an expectancy though out of my parents. My parents let me watch rated R movies at a young age. They didn't care. But there was an expectancy that they taught me that said, this is a movie. This is not real life. This is not what happens. And if we ever catch you saying any of the language that comes out of these videos, we will slap your mouth and put soap in your mouth. Yeah. And so like there was an expectancy. Like,
See, that's
There were
I
conditions.
Grew up, I
And then-
grew up watching all the old Van Damme movies and stuff,
Yeah.
but I watched it for the karate. Like I
Oh,
was
heck yeah.
I was hardcore into like Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles, and so it's like anything that had to do with fighting and karate, I was so into, and so I would watch that, not realizing what's going on outside of the fighting scenes was probably something I shouldn't be seeing, but I didn't get it. I was just watching it for the fight scenes. But
One of my friends shared about the whole Disney thing, and he wrote on Facebook that he had wanted to he was canceled his Disney Plus, and he wanted to give like an other, but in the other reason for canceling his membership, it didn't allow him to give a response.
I've noticed that a lot of places do that now.
Interesting.
And so he actually phoned in to then cancel, but there was a huge wait. And so he was hoping, he's like, I hope this is a sign of like other people doing the same, because
yeah,
it's just,
well, it's
we need to slow down.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let our kids be kids.
When I think just overall in the last couple of years, especially, a lot of the corruption that we kind of knew was there has been brought a lot more into the light.
why do you think that is?
And I just think at the end of the day, it can't be hidden forever. And so it starts to come out. And I think that going back to earlier in this conversation, talking about the Academy Awards, things like that, all of us just regular people who are just trying to live our lives, create a family in a safe place and a fun place for them to live and experience life, are sick of being talked down to from people in political spheres, in actors, rich people. We're sick of being told what we're doing wrong
Well, and told like what to like
and what we should like, how we should live, all this stuff.
How you
We're
need to
sick
teach your
of it.
kids, what you need to teach. Yeah.
And we want, we're like, no, this is not how we should be doing this. We should have more control. I think we as parents have been losing control in these things, especially like in schools where they're making these things happen. Like, I think we're just all fed up with it. So a lot more people are whistleblowing. Like that whole video from Disney came from that was an internal meeting.
Yeah.
And someone in there was like, this isn't right, recorded it and sent it to the world.
Yeah.
You know, I think people are just getting fed up and they're like, no, this isn't okay. And we need to all know about it so that these people can be held accountable.
Yeah.
I hope it does. I hope there's correction, man. I feel like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because we're getting older and we're not burying our head in the sand anymore, you know? So that it's like,
Maybe.
now we're just
I know
more
we-
attuned to it.
The hard thing is too is, you know, we send our kids to public school, which I want to say all of us do. You think about all the kids that are going and their parents and all the different beliefs that are probably going to that school, whether it's religion, sexuality, whatever it may be, and your kids going to school, they're talking to their friends and then coming home all confused because of that too.
Well, and I guess here's the best argument, right? Is if you're pro teaching kids sexual things, then are you also pro for them learning about religion? Are you also pro about, you know what I mean? Like everyone has their thing that they're against. Like, I don't want my kid being forced taught this. Okay, well, if you don't want your kid being forced taught Christianity, then don't force teach my kid about sexuality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, like religion, sexuality, and politics are all things that should not be taught in a public setting.
Well, and
by teachers.
Here's my biggest thing at the end of the day is when it comes down to it, let's say, you know, Katie or Rose or Ronnie or whoever, they have a friend who is the kid of two gay guys. And let's say this kid says, oh yeah, my dad does this and my other dad does this and stuff. And I want them to come home to me and talk to me about it. And we can have a discussion. Oh yeah, your friend, your friend's dad's, they're gay. This is what gay means. It means that later in life, they decided that this is what they were and they had feelings towards other people, and stuff like that. It's the life that they chose. There's nothing wrong with it. They are loving and accepting people. My issue is no one else needs to be teaching my child about that but me.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel like the world is going these days is they want the parents' control out of it and they want to teach kids about it. And
my question is, what the heck's their angle? Like aside,
right?
if this hurts your feelings for us to be so angered about you wanting to teach these to our kids, what's your ultimate goal?
Yeah.
Like what's your angle?
Yeah.
Why are you grooming our children? Like, what is it for? Exactly.
Like, do these teachers have kids of their own that I don't know.
I can't see anything that's not like, it seems all too nefarious. Like,
Well, oh, sorry.
No, go for it.
I was going to say, I almost wonder if maybe half of it's they feel like, maybe they're not going to be accepted. And so they have to force it on us on a different way. But I can tell you right now, if you're any decent human being, you're going to be accepting of it all. I mean, even when I was in teaching primary class and we were talking about how we treat people and stuff like that, I even told all these kids, they were, 10, 11, 12-year-old kids and stuff like that. I said, when you're at school and you have a person who's not like you, who is different than you, how do you treat them? And one of the kids actually rose up his hand and he goes, I seen a couple of kids like that at school, and I know some kids who will treat them badly and make fun of them, bully them and stuff like that. And I said, see, that's the problem. I said, that is not how you act towards other people. And I flat out just told him right then and there, I said, you are to love and accept anybody for whatever they are. I said, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you need to take care of you and believe in what you believe in. But when it comes to other people and how they are, and just because someone might look different than you or act different than you, doesn't mean you get to push them down into the dirt and treat them differently. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You still are to treat them as you would yourself want to be treated. Mm. And I think that at the end of the day, that's all it comes down to is I don't care who you are. I'm going to be nice to you. In fact, I even had someone who I worked with who wouldn't even tell me that they were gay because they knew I was Mormon.
Dude,
and I was like,
so sad.
When I finally was just like, you could tell at the end, they are as gay as the rainbow was bright.
I could see they come up to you, they're like, I'm gay, and you're like, oh, I had no idea.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
What a shocker.
They finally opened up to me and they started talking to me about how they were going on dates with guys and stuff like that. And I'm like, good for you, man. That's awesome. Like, are you happy? And they're like, oh yeah. And I was just like, they're like, honestly, I never thought I could talk to you about this. And I was like, why? Well, because you're Mormon. And I said, what does that have to do with anything? Because I'm Mormon, I'm going to treat you differently.
You should have called him a bigot. You
right?
a bigot?
Yes, I should have said, you're treating me how you thought I would treat you. But I was just like, no, at the end of the day, man, you do you. I said, I might not agree with it. I might not agree with your decision, but are you happy? And he goes, yeah. And I said,
Cool.
then I have nothing
Yeah.
against it.
Your life does not affect mine
Exactly.
whatsoever. dude.
And
Do you?
we need to get back to that.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so much easier to live.
It is.
It's like just because I don't agree with what you're doing doesn't mean I'm judging you for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just being forced upon everybody at this point to where it's pissing people off.
It's almost like you need to pick a team.
Yeah.
You need to pick a team.
Yeah.
Who's
exactly.
your team?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
What's your
that's it.
team? It's like
Or if you're the
my
whole
team is-
classic, if you're not with us, you're against us. It's like,
Like that makes no
it's like,
sense.
no. Nope. Well, it's we were talking about this on the way over because I want to say you had mentioned it before, like about about how a lot of times we get a lot of comments and stuff about how we're mean people or we're this or we're that or something like
do?
that. And you had just said at the end of the day, we're here to have a discussion.
Yeah.
And just because we don't agree with you or you don't agree with us doesn't mean we still can't have a civil conversation, talk about things. And at the end of the conversation, we still not see eye to eye. Doesn't mean we still can't be friends with each other.
Yeah. I
Exactly.
respect your decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only time I ever have issue is if you try to force me to agree with it or to go along with it, to agree with it, to be on your side, whatever. If you try to force me in my hand and how I live, that's when I have issue.
And that's what I feel like that lady at Disney is doing, is forcing the matter upon people when
And the most vulnerable of us.
and in the most vulnerable ways with the most vulnerable children. And that's wrong.
And
that
then
shouldn't happen.
And then the cherry on top of it all is now they're monetizing it. Hey, come live in Palm Springs, be trans, and we'll pay you.
We'll pay you $900 a month.
$900 a month.
Insanity. Well, and so here's the other problem with
suddenly I'm feeling a little
right? That's my point. Is like we're now to a point where it's such a peer pressured thing to be not what you were born to be. Like,
Yeah, it's
how many
almo-
kids in school right now are using pronouns of the opposite gender because that's what's cool, that's what's accepted in society?
yeah.
Like, how do they
Well,
not
and
see
even-
the problem in that?
Even something like anxiety and depression is cool.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Gone are the days of people actually looking at themselves, finding their shortcomings, and trying to overcome them because they want a better life for themselves.
Yep.
Like, there's that comedian who makes that joke about millennials. I sent it a long time ago.
And he
he's
finds
like,
out himself.
yeah, he's like, I used to
himself
make
is
fun
one.
of millennials, and then I realized I am one. Now they're all right. he's like, but if there's one thing I have to poke fun of at millennials, it's that we're a little too self-aware. We know what's wrong with us, but we don't do anything about it. He's like, a millennial will come up and he'll be like, I've got anxiety. And you'll be like, oh man, that's good that you know that. Are you going to do anything about it? He's like, no, I'm telling you so you work around it. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
so spot on.
Holy crap. Isn't
And
that
that's
spot
not
on?
okay.
That's so spot on.
My issues are not you don't need to deal with my issues for my sanity. That's
Yeah.
narcissism. That's pride. That's not okay.
oh boy.
What a can of worms we just
Right.
opened.
Oh yeah, dude.
All right. Well,
Just-
it's funny. Speaking of that too, I actually had my boss the other day. Like I'll admit it. I've got anxiety. I've got depression. I deal with that stuff all the time.
So you're human. Awesome.
Yes, exactly.
So you're a human and you're over 30. Got it.
See, there we go. And what was it the other day, man? I was having a down day, and my boss just reached out to me and he goes, "Hey, man, you seem a little down. You doing all right?" And I'm like, "Man, I'm fine. I'm just gonna do my own thing today." And he was like, "All right, man. I'm just making sure you're okay." But it wasn't to the fact of where I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm having issues, and I need you to help me, and you need to work
Yeah.
around me." I was like, "I know what's going on with me. I'll figure it out. I appreciate you reaching out to me. Thank you. This is what's going on, and I'll figure it out." And he was like, "Okay." He goes, if there's anything I can do to help, just please reach out. If there's anything I can do, in a work-related situation to help you out. And I was like, honestly, man, I said, I just might need to take a day off here in the next day or two. And he's like, if you need anything, let me know. We'll get you a day off.
Yeah.
As simple as that, But it's like you said, a lot of kids these days will say, well, yeah, going through a lot of anxiety and depression right now, and I'm just feeling horrible and stuff. And can you go run this stop for me and do this for me and do this for me so I can take a breather for like the next 2 hours?
Well, not even like that. It'd be more so like Tony would come in all happy and he'd be like, how dare you be happy? You see that I'm sad and depressed. I'm so offended that you think it's okay to be happy around me.
Right?
Like that's what it is. And my gosh, I've never wanted more in my life to just carry a bat around. Swing it.
You want to play a little Negan, huh?
You're like, oh, I don't like you. I mean, I think to wrap it all up, at the end of the day, it's just be kind to each other. Live and let live. You know, let others live their lives. They're not hurting you doing it the way they want to. You don't have to agree with it, and you can still be kind and like them.
You can still be friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let our kids be innocent. Let them worry about dirt and bugs and dumb stuff.
Let them be curious about the world.
Yeah, don't try to force them in a direction because one of them saw a curl hanging down from his head and he's like, "Oh, am I a girl?" Yeah, puberty blockers.
That's like
No.
seeing a gray hair. Oh, I must be old.
I must be an old man.
I'm 34 and I'm still curious about the world. So
Hey, dude, there is nothing more enjoyable than watching like your little kid just go outside and just like look at stuff through like a magnifying glass.
Yep.
Oh, I love that innocence, man.
Yeah.
Just that curiosity, bugs, how they live, like how they operate.
Not to mention just the pure innocence of just people. Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
they're not going to judge you based off of what you're wearing or anything like that. It's like, oh, you're not wearing name
Or you
brand
could even-
clothes. And
you could even be like my nephews on Kara's side of the family. Now, one of them is so like there's one who's attracted to all sorts of critters and animals and bugs, and he's got like his room is just like a jungle. He's got, I want to say he has a tarantula. Anyway, he might not, but he's got like lizards and frogs and stuff like that. And then his younger brother, one day he comes up to me with like a little daddy long leg in his hand. And he goes, "Oh, look." And I'm like, "You get the hell away from me right now." But it's the innocence of him. Like they're, like you said, they're looking around at all the little bugs and
figuring
stuff.
it
And
out,
I'm
man.
like,
It's
you
beautiful.
do you enjoy that, but just stay away from me.
Yeah.
I love. There was one time Micah was out back and she had accidentally stepped on a bug. I don't think she meant to, but she looked at it. She's like, "Oh no." She didn't know, like she was processing. She's like,
I just killed it.
I'm a murderer.
no, she was like, "He needs batteries. He's not working anymore." And she like wanted me to come in and get a battery and replace his battery. And I'm like, his battery's gone.
Honey, his batteries aren't coming back.
And it's
can't-
your fault.
You cannot replace that little
You
battery.
murdered him.
that's what it feels like to take a life.
Yep. Oh my god.
Make it dark.
Yep. But there you go. A promise to be made is don't steal our kids' innocence. You will regret it.
Yeah.
That's not a threat. That's a promise. Stay away from my kids.
Right?
Oh, boy.
Oh my goodness. Well, this one was a difficult one to get through, but again, like things need to be talked about. We're too much in a world where people don't want to hear the things that they don't like. Well, get over it. It's life.
Yep.
You need to hear the things you don't like. That's how we all come to agreements and move on with our lives and have a good time all together. So, thank you if you're still here. Thank you for being part of this crowd. Thanks for hanging out with us. Again, we miss Chris.
Yes.
I'm sure he had a lot of good insights,
Yes.
and
I think Chris would have had a fun one with this one.
he would
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
He's gonna
He
be
would have
listening
gotten
to this. He'll be
fired
so
up.
pissed.
Right?
Yeah, buddy. And on that note, we're out, people. Thanks for being here. We love you. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Ciao.
Love you.